Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Today I want to talk to you about starting a YouTube channel as a reptile breeder or as an aspiring reptile breeder. This is going to be a two-part video series. This is going to be the why, or why I think it's such a great idea to create a channel. Next week's video is going to be the how I would actually go about it, some of the things I've learned, some of the more technical nitty-gritty things that you could only learn from doing it for 8 years like I have. And so if you don't know where to start, next week's video is going to be for you. If you don't know if you should start, this video is going to be for you. We're going to cover some of the benefits, some of the cons, and then my overall opinion about it. So let's start us off with some of the benefits. One of the obvious benefits is that I think it's just fun to make videos. You can make videos talking about your animals and showing them off, and it's fun to create new things, especially if you enjoy creating new animals, different color combinations, different morphs, and you have that creative aspect in you. I think you'll really enjoy creating videos. And if you don't know if you'll enjoy it or not, there's an easy way to find out. Create your first couple YouTube videos and then you'll know for certain. As someone who's been doing YouTube for the past 10 years pretty consistently, it's something that I have found that I just really enjoy, and I think you may find that too. Now, another big benefit of creating a YouTube channel, if you're going to be a reptile breeder or you already are one, is that you're going to have a lot of people come from your YouTube channel and want to buy your animals, which I think is a great thing, not only because you get to sell to the people who like your videos, but they also already know you, they already know your animals, they already know how you care for your animals, and they know if they want to support you or not if they like your videos. And hopefully your videos are helpful and can help them along their journey as well. And so I think it's really just a good thing all around when people from your audience want to come and buy your geckos. And I have definitely found this to be a humongous benefit over time as my channel has grown. The amount of people who come from my channel that want to buy geckos continues to grow year over year as my channel has also grown. And so this is a huge benefit. I can't even imagine creating a reptile business or having a reptile business and not having some sort of YouTube aspect to it where I document my journey or show off the animals that I'm working with, right? I think this is one of the biggest benefits. Another big benefit is that you are going to draw more people into the hobby of whatever animal you're working with that may have never had the opportunity to experience them or find them naturally otherwise. And I think one of the best things for me is the messages where people tell me that I inspired them to get their first crested gecko, and that without my videos they would have never got one. And so I really like those messages, knowing that some other people have been inspired to get interested in crested geckos, just like I was once inspired from other people to get animals. And so I think it's a cycle that continues on, and you can bring people into the hobby of whatever animal you work with who may have not otherwise been able to find them on their own and may have never even known about them otherwise. One of the other benefits of creating videos, and something I was kind of just talking about, is that you also not only get to bring people into the hobby, but you can also help them along the way. And so while my videos might also bring people into the crested gecko world or space, it might also help them and entertain them too. And I think that's one of the great parts about creating it. There's so many people that I've received messages from over the years saying that my videos have really helped them, have really enjoyed them and really helped them on their journey. And I think that's one of the big things that also keeps you going, is when you're helping people. And with some species of reptiles, I'm sure some of the more rare things that there isn't almost any content being put out about them. And so I think it could really help a lot of people depending on what you're working with. And even in the crested gecko space, I mean, compared to other communities like, let's say, gaming videos or car videos, right? There's 10 car people or 10 car YouTube channels for every one crested gecko channel, and crested geckos are a relatively popular reptile, right? And so there's not a lot of competition in this space. There's not a lot of information necessarily being put out about them on YouTube specifically. There's some, but there's not a ton. And so I think you can really help people just by putting your perspective out there and letting them get a different view of things. Now, the last and final benefit, if those other benefits weren't enough for you already, which I think those are pretty amazing on their own, once you add in this, then you really get a full package. And that is, can you make money from YouTube itself as a reptile breeder? And the obvious answer is yes. How much can you make? It really depends. There's a lot of variables. Do advertisers like your videos? Are they family friendly? How long are they? What type of content about reptiles are you making specifically? There's so many different things, right? I can tell you for me, in my case, I've been making 2 videos a month for the last couple of years. And since I've started this channel, I've been pretty consistently getting a check for $100 to $200 a month just from making a couple videos a month, right? So that's not too bad. It's not going to be life-changing in my case, but it is just nice money, and I can put it towards gecko stuff or whatever I want, right? And it's just a nice little extra income that you get from creating these videos. However, what I will say is, I know there are other people in the reptile space who are making a lot more than me, and so it definitely is possible. I know some of the bigger reptile YouTube channels are pulling in 20, 30, 40, 50, even $60,000 a month just in YouTube ad revenue, just from making reptile videos, which is mind-blowing to think about, right? But this is the case, and so if you are someone who can stick with YouTube and you do build up an audience over time, you will be greatly rewarded from YouTube itself just by making these videos. And one of the great things about YouTube, which I didn't include in this benefits list, is that it is something that compounds over time. Meaning that over time, you know, your audience compounds, the amount of views that you get compound because you have all your old videos plus the new ones. The old ones continue to get views, your new ones continue to get views, and so it's something that snowballs over time. It starts out small, gets bigger, right? And so that's one of the great things about YouTube, and that you can make a video and 100 people could see it, 1,000 people could see it, or 100,000 people could see it. And so it's just one of those amazing things. I think it's a really amazing opportunity. However, there are some negatives about creating YouTube videos. One of those would be that it is very time consuming. You're going to have a lot of planning, a lot of time filming, recording, editing, uploading, and then anything else that goes along with that I couldn't think of. It can be very time consuming. I know in my case, if I'm making a video like this, which isn't going to be super edited, I'm just going to record it, film it. I had to plan it a little bit, edit it, upload it. It might take a couple hours. And if I do that twice a month, which isn't the best for growth, it's going to be a couple hours a month of work. And so you have to decide if that's a benefit for you. I would say it definitely is, given all the other benefits that we just talked about, but it is going to take time away from maybe working on your reptiles themselves. A third con, which may be a big one to you or may not be, is that you have to put yourself out there. You have to make content that is going to be about you, about your animals. There's probably going to be some stuff about your life in there. And so if you're a very private person, maybe a very introverted person like I am, it can be hard to put yourself out there and make YouTube videos. You don't have to be on camera, but you do have to make the videos. And so you are going to be putting yourself out there to some degree. And the final con that comes with that is that you are going to have haters. There's going to be people who dislike you, leave negative comments on your videos, who maybe are in the same reptile industry as you, who don't like you, but have never had an interaction with you, have never talked to you, have never had anything to do with you. They're going to make up their opinion about you just by watching your content. And so you have to ask yourself if that's worth it or not. Like, I know that there's people in the crested gecko world who don't like me just because of these videos that I put out, right? And that's something that I'm okay with because, you know, it is what it is, right? People are just not going to like you for whatever reason. Even if they have nothing to do with you, people will dislike you. And I think these are very minor cons compared to all the benefits we talked about, but I thought they were worth mentioning. And so my overall opinion about creating a channel, if you're a reptile breeder or if you're an aspiring breeder, is pretty obvious, but I think that it is a huge benefit to your reptile breeding business if you have the time to do it. And I think that there is also huge opportunities within the YouTube reptile space just because there's not that many people doing it. And I'm talking more specifically about crested geckos, but if you really think about it, how many YouTube channels are there that make just crested gecko specific content, right? Think about it. How many are there? Not that many. There's probably what? I don't know. I don't watch that much content, but I would say probably less than 10, right? That are crested gecko specific, right? It's one thing if you're posting crested geckos and ball pythons and, you know, tree boas, but if you're just talking crested gecko stuff, how many channels are there? Probably not that many. And so if you're someone who's a reptile person and a crested gecko person more specifically, I think there's a huge opportunity right now for you to spring up in a market where there's people who obviously want to see crested gecko content, but there's not a whole bunch of people making it. I think crested geckos and gargoyle geckos and Leachianus geckos and all of these other types of New Caledonian geckos, people want to see videos about, and there's just not that many being made. And I think that if you are interested in creating a YouTube channel about crested geckos, now is an excellent time to do so. And so my opinion is, if you have the time, if you have the resources, which you don't really need a lot of money, you just need like a phone, you know, a cheap mic, and being able to record your animals, I think it's such a great opportunity. I could not imagine passing that up. And so my opinion is, if you can, please, please, please create a YouTube channel. It'll change your reptile business for the better. I guarantee it. You'll love it. And so that's my opinion on it. I think it's such a great thing to do if you have the time and the ability. And if you don't know how, if you don't know where to start, if you don't know what to do, if you don't know, any level of things on how to get started, we're going to be talking about that next week. We're going to be talking about some of the tips and tricks, some of the things I've learned, all the technical stuff, how I would actually get started, and all the things surrounding that. This was just more to convince you to hopefully create a channel and put yourself out there and actually do it. If you don't know how, we're going to be talking about it next week. We're going to get into that. But I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you tune in next week for part 2 to this. I think it's going to be very beneficial to you. With that being said, I hope to see you in my next video.